Welcome everybody to Dallas Personal Robotics Group Robot Builder Virtual for February 17th, 2026. Tonight we'll do our normal presentation of projects and followed by an open mic question session. For housekeeping today, I just got a reminder about our May competitions coming up. The end of May. We will be hosting at the Dallas Makerspace, Quick Trip, a line following advanced competition, a barrel racing competition, our 6-can event, a 4-square event, and a sumo competition. So we've got a good selection of challenges for just about anybody that wants to try and get things going. Everybody's invited to come and participate. So tonight we will start off with Mark, who's going to give us an update on his.
I just have a couple of minor things. I've been starting design of a new robot chassis, and I'm working on the wheel mechanism at the moment. And so this is kind of the prototype of it here. So basically, it's a wheel assembly. It's got a it has a 3D printed bearings around the wheel hub, and then basically has a internal motor in it. It basically drives on the outside of the rim. So I don't know if you guys can see that.
Is it like spur gear driven?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so if you
Mark,
look from the front here, you can see the gear. What's that?
Is that the motor in there already?
That's the motor in there. Yep.
Okay. So it's pretty small motor, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Not meant to go fast.
No, cool.
So it's basically it's just an N20 motor, 12 volt. So if I give it power here. If I can clip onto the leads are small. And there goes the connection.
Hey, Mark.
But anyway,
is that 3D printed or anything, or is that?
Yeah, everything's 3D printed. So it's got a TPU tire on the outside.
Yep.
Basically a wheel hub, and then the gearing mechanism. That's kind of the prototype of the bearings for the.
Can you move it up a little bit?
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the bearings for the gearing mechanism.
Cool. Oh. Nice.
So this is the parts for the next version of the bearing mechanism. So the idea is that
bearings or balls.
Yeah, it'll be. So if you look in there, you can see the bearing race, and so it just uses airsoft BBs for the bearing. So everything is really lightweight. And then this hub has the cutout on the bottom to give it more ground clearance. And then the idea is that inside here, along with the motor, is going to be a magnetic angle sensor and the motor driver. And so that'll basically live on a board right in the center. And if you look at the wheel that's put together, there'll be essentially a magnet here in the center of the hub, so it'll actually be able to detect the motion of the wheel, independent of the motor. So it'll be won't be relying on the motor. It'll be relying on the actual spinning wheel.
Is that one of those? It's got like 8,192 counts, and it uses a specially polarized magnet where instead of it
Right.
negative and positive poles, or not negative, positive, north and south poles coming out of the flat surfaces, it
Yep.
kind of comes out the
What-
edges.
What Pat is holding in his hands, that's exactly what'll be in there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What is that? Is that an AS 5600?
Yes.
This one is, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what I'm planning on having in the central hub for the encoder. And then the idea is that the robot will have 4 of these tires on it. And I don't know if I'm going to make it steer yet, or if I'm just going to make it tank driven. I still haven't decided on that yet. But that's one of the things that I've been working on. The other thing I've been working on is I actually created my very first PCBs.
Mm.
So, and this is for my modeling project that I've been working on.
Are
The
those
one that I
Raspberry Pi
have
Picos?
committed to giving a talk to later on in the year. Sorry, what was that, Ray?
Are those Raspberry Pi Picos?
Yeah,
The 2040s?
yeah, they're actually the newer ones. They're the Pico
Oh.
2s.
Yeah,
So the 2350s.
yeah. So there's a bunch of proto boards for those. Did you just not like what you could get there? Or did you do something different?
So if you notice, basically what these are is they're a board that's linked together. So
Oh.
it's basically got serial
Mark, can you
connection.
lift it up a little bit?
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, more.
I have to look at my camera.
Almost
instead of
over
looking at
your
everyone.
mouth.
There you go.
Yeah.
So they're basically they're daisy chained together over the USB port. And so along with some of the software I've written, which is the main thing, is you can actually program these boards and set up the communication behind them. And then they will basically all talk together over a common interface to make it easy to share modules and handle all of the communication more or less automatically.
So, Mark, do those boards simply break out the connection points? It's hard to tell what the detail is on the board that you were making that you plugged the Pico into.
Yeah, they're basically just breaking out the connection points.
Got it.
So it is going to be kind of like a new dev board, but the idea is this is kind of a first quick version since I had never done a PCB before. But the idea will be is that each of these will have essentially the Pico on them, the communication channels for chaining them together, and then we'll also have eventually there'll be essentially the power port on the bottom so that you could basically drive them with 6 to 24 volts, and so that they'll basically manage all of the power for you, so that you don't have.
When I started to look at solving that problem rather than attempt my own design, I prototyped one, got tired of prototyping. So then I simply ended up buying somebody else's design and had a whole bunch of them made in China. So a little more stuff on it than yours does, besides breakouts.
Yep. Well, once I start showing you guys the software and whatnot, then you'll see what I'm trying to do.
It's a nice idea. I still think in terms of a single computer on a robot, and that's probably becoming more and more of a limitation.
Well, the goal behind this is to make it, what I want to try and do is make it easy for creators to kind of share pieces. my weakest spot in robotics is doing the electronics and whatnot. And it's been something I've been struggling with doing, and so trying to make that a little bit easier and a little bit easier for people to share their stuff. For example, we have lots of people in the club that are good at various things for creating motor drivers and all of that. But if they could basically create a module and then share that module and make it to where it's easy to share that module, that's kind of what I'm working on.
I like that idea.
So I can kind of if you give me a moment, I can try and share something here real quick. I just have to share my screen. That's the wrong button.
Mark, refresh my memory. Are you from Houston?
No,
Are
I'm
you-
down in Burleson.
Burleson. Oh, okay. I was going to say your paths are awfully short there.
You like my short paths? All right. So I've had these up and running for a while, and I'm demoing, so it probably won't work. So I'm going to connect to the first module here. And what you'll see is that it basically is automatically going out and pinging all of those 3 modules that I have running. And can everyone see my screen here?
Mm-hmm.
So every module basically carries its interface built into it. And so the software can query that interface, which is what this just did. And then it basically automatically created a testing interface for those modules. And so I've got 3 tabs across here on the top, which are the 3 individual modules. In this case, they're all the same thing. But they generally have a name, a manufacturer, version number, description. And so you can basically query all of those. And then these are just blinking. So if I hold up my modules to the camera again, I can do something like change the blink rate on the first. Am I on the first module? Yeah, I'm on the first module. So we'll change it to 1,000. So it'll start blinking at a second. And go to the second module and tell it to blink at the rate of 100. So they're basically all chained together, and you can basically command them and talk to them over the interface.
Mark, you mentioned you're using the serial interface for your bus.
Yeah, I'm using the serial for the protocol that's being used.
So how fast is communications?
Right now, since these are running MicroPython, it's not super duper fast.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of got an idea of it when it started up and was scrolling by. So these are all the commands that are getting sent across. But right now I'm running it kind of slow.
Sure.
The C version is much, much faster.
You're running them peer-to-peer or master slave?
What's that? The peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer, okay. And RS-485, it's certainly not RS-232. Or
No, it's RS-232 currently. It's
It
the
is.
standard UART off of the Pico.
okay. And you've managed to make that multi-drop peer-to-peer.
So the way it's working is basically the protocol runs over the bus. So you can take I don't know how well you can see the protocol over here
Sure.
on the side window.
Okay.
So there's several different types of commands. So the first thing that the computer sent out was this set log level to 8, which is basically turning on the logging across all of the modules. So, and then it sends out a ping, and then the device responded back, and then I proceed to basically query the device for its interface, which is what most of these commands are that you're seeing here.
Right.
And so basically the bus, there's a 1 character lag time. Each of the boards is processing the communication 1 character at a time. And so there's basically a 1 character lag time as you set down the chain.
Okay.
Because everybody basically reads the character and then forwards the character on. So that's the way the protocol currently works. Anyway, there'll be more details on it later. That's just a quick thing.
Interesting. Well,
Because
thank you.
there's other software that goes with it, and there's software that basically automatically generates the full the interface for you from basically you write a little you define the interface, and then it's got a compiler that will compile that interface file and generate the VS Code project file for you for the board, and basically handle all of the communication automatically. So when you go to write this, you basically define that interface, and then it will automatically define the communication and the framework for the Pico itself, so that you basically can fill in a class. So that's kind of how it works. And that's about what I have for this week.
Well, thanks, Mark.
Hey, Mark,
Uh-huh.
there's something that can you hold your boards up again so I can kind of get a look at how they're daisy chained? I'm trying to. So you're essentially communicating on, okay. So
It's
you're
using-
communicating on 2 UARTs, right?
Right. It's you
Okay.
have the incoming UART and then the outgoing UART.
UART. Gotcha. Okay. Now
Except for the first board. The first board has its initial communication is coming in over the USB.
gotcha.
So it automatically detects which interface you actually start with.
Mhm.
So whichever one it gets communication on first. So in this case, it's got the first board is doing USB, then out of UART 1 to UART 0 on the second board, and then it's chained out through UART 1 on the second board to UART 0 on the third board.
Mhm. Is it doing anything? Where is the message being interpreted to which board? Otherwise, is simply the first board on its sends everything to the input and of the second board, and the output just echoes that same thing into the third board, and the board itself picks off the commands that are relevant to itself?
Yes. So the system is it's auto addressing. It's auto addressing.
Okay.
So basically, when you first initialize it, it'll basically automatically address each board.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you send commands via each command basically gives its address for who it's going to. And then it basically, all the boards basically get sped down the chain. And if you detect a message is coming to you, then you parse it.
Got it.
And the compiler, when it sets up the project, it automatically sets up all of the communication to run off of the second core on the Pico. So it actually uses both cores of the Pico. So all the communication stays on the first core, and all of your user code would be written onto the second core. So all of the handling of the interface and all of that is all handled independent of your running code. And essentially, once a message is detected, that message is basically parsed and forwarded down to you.
Yeah. So is it stripped off of the? Is it stripped off of the thing that's going? So okay, let's say it was your second board had the command. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does it, when it detects that it's got a command and it parses it, does it also remove it from the data stream that's going to the third board? Or does it just echo straight and the third board just knows it's not for me?
It echoes it straight, and the reason why it does that is because the protocol also supports grouping, and so
Oh,
you
okay.
can actually group things to where my demo software doesn't handle it yet, but the protocol actually handles it to where, like for these blinking modules, I could tell them to group themselves. And then I could basically send a command to the group, for example, setting the blink rate, and then they would all set their blink rate more or
Right.
less simultaneously.
Okay.
Mm.
That,
So you do like
that
an
makes
address
sense.
and
It's
then
simpler too, I think.
a
I'm just
command.
curious. I was just curious of how you were handling it. Sounds cool. I really like the wheel though. The wheel is really, really neat. I mean, this is neat too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying the wheel is really neat. Super neat.
Hopefully, I'll have them together for a little bit more and have a little bit more of the chassis up in the next week or two.
Okay.
So you can reinvent the wheel.
Mark, you mentioned that the addresses are auto-configured. Can you also hot plug an additional module into your network?
In theory, yes. I haven't really tested it much though.
Got it. I understand.
And basically, the way the protocol works is when you first come on board, your address is -1. And so until you actually get assigned an address, you're basically just listening for someone to set your address. And so you could periodically pull to set the addresses.
Okay. So you must have one function that runs on one module that manages address allocation.
It's basically the whatever's the controller for talking to them.
Okay, got it. Now you elected to use the asynchronous serial interface instead of something like I²C.
The reason why I didn't want to use I²C is precisely for the dynamic addressing. I²C really doesn't support that very well. And the other thing is that serial is a very easy protocol that you can connect to with Python or C or other things on the other end. So communicating down through to actually make the connection is simple.
Does your bus contain power and ground wires as well?
Yes.
So the one when you add an additional board, it's powered by the previous board through the previous board.
It can be, yes.
Okay.
Can you say again what the protocol is that you're using?
Oh, the protocol is a custom protocol that runs over the UART.
Okay, so it's your own protocol.
Yep.
Okay.
Does it have error checking?
What's that?
Is
Not,
it
not yet.
not yet, but something you're looking to implement?
It's something that I might implement if it's needed.
So you're not responding to an incorrect command.
What's that?
So that you wouldn't be.
It has an error system in it, so if it doesn't recognize a command, typically it just ignores it but if it's sent to it, it can actually respond with an error code.
Okay.
So there's several types of messages in the protocol. One is a message. A message is a one-way, simple. It sends out a message, and the device can respond to it. The other one is a command. The command actually has a return, so it can return a value or return an acknowledgement. You have the token, which is a special command, which is currently how the addressing is handled. It has events, so that basically the boards themselves can basically fire off events that will go back the other way. So those are how you can do things like sending back information every so often. It has a special event that basically is the equivalent of the serial I/O. So you can basically do serial plotting and things like that. So you can send back data for plotting. So the protocol has a plotting system built into it. So it's there's a lot to it.
If you're masochistic, you could use the PIO on the Pico to run the serial and just have a 1 clock delay instead of a character delay.
Haven't gotten that far yet.
But you can do it.
It's doable.
Well, sounds interesting, Mark.
So that's the quick version of it. Like I said, I'm on the hook for giving a bigger demonstration of it later on at one of our meetings.
You're not on the hook. We're just hoping you will. Looking forward to it. How's that? And we're not going to
I'm planning on doing it because I want to use you guys as guinea pigs to test it.
Okay.
So you want us to break it, huh?
That's the way it works.
Okay. Well, thank you. Next up, we had Doug.
Oh, that mic was in front of me, but okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right, Mike.
Oh,
I
okay.
just looked at the blank spot beside Doug, and I said, "Oh, Mike didn't do
Blank
anything." But
spot.
I already wrote notes for Mike.
I'm blank. Oh my.
No, Doug was blank. I had notes beside your name, so that's why I jumped out to the blank spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got my platform mechanics, the wheels and stuff done. I worked on the microcode to process some open show commands over Wi-Fi, and I used up all my tokens doing that for AI. And then they said, "Oh, we don't want that. We want something else." So I got to start all over on that. So. So on the 20th, all my tokens come back, so I can do it again. Yeah. So I don't have a great presentation, but I can put my phone up and show you. So this is the.
Hang on, I'm going to pin you for everybody here. See better?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see what we got.
See if you can see this stuff. But
Okay.
that's my motor and my wheels before I mounted them, plus the wiring and stuff. And then my And then this is the actual thing rotating. So this should be good for 500 pounds.
Okay, so there's casters.
Yeah,
and
I'll go
then
back
there-
to the
then there's a like a rotation tray.
yeah, the wheel, yeah, the wheel is, the drive wheel is right there on the motor.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And so the motor runs the drive wheel, which is at the same height as the casters. Excuse me. And I can adjust the motor height using a nut and on a screw. So I can move it up and down real finely to get the right amount of force. And it works pretty good. So what's missing right now is the between the two platforms, between the upper and the lower platform, I'm going to there's going to be a hole in the center for the wires to come through, because for the rotating AC coupler, and also there's going to be a mechanism mounted on the bottom board and a bearing on the top board to keep the top board centered, because right now it could just slide off. So
So you're gonna have
your slipping?
essentially a track, right?
pardon? Too many
So
people.
like you're gonna add a track for the casters? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm going to put a
center pivot.
6-inch Lazy Susan bearing, and then have a ring on the top board to sort of cradle it, and so it'll just rotate. So it'll keep it from sliding back and forth, because there's not going to be a lot of lateral motion, but it'll eventually drift and slope and stuff.
So you're saying that you're using a drive wheel instead of using your driver to be the center and drive things that way, and therefore keep it aligned.
Right. Yes.
And why was that?
It's just simpler. And also it has more force, because it's sort of a big gear. Like it's like a 9-foot gear.
Okay.
And then the motor moves around and moves it around.
Okay.
And so getting it geared down was difficult on motors to get it small enough gear ratio. But with a 9-foot track, I mean, it's not a track, but the casters and that circle for the casters is about 9 foot in circumference. And so the drive wheel is 4 inches, and so it has it spins like 10 times a second, 10 times a minute to like 10 RPM to move to move it around once a second. So I mean once a minute, so I can get the platform to move in 1 minute. So yeah.
So how long before we see your name at the bottom of the Hollywood movies?
Not gonna happen. But
Going by
it
very
sounds like a good idea.
all the credits.
So that's my show and tell. Not much. It's just I just got it running like 5 minutes before the meeting went. Oh crap! I got a meeting to go to. Glad I got it running. And tomorrow I'm going to do my 3D printing for the limit switches, so I can precisely position it at 90-degree angles, and also the bearing, the little box between a platform between the lower one and the bottom and the top board to mount the rotating coupler and the bearing. And so it's tomorrow's gonna be 3D printing day. So far I haven't had to do it. I didn't want to do it on anything really load bearing. So the 3D printing is not load bearing. So that's good.
I thought
Yeah,
this was
imagine if you didn't couple the top to the bottom somehow. Any imbalance in load would make the top half walk off the bottom half, I think, right?
Right. That's why we're going to put a bearing on the bottom of the top board, and then couple it to a box on the lower board, so it'll just keep it in place.
Okay.
Wasn't this meant to hang on a wall?
Oh no, that was a much smaller thing.
Okay.
That was a really small 5-volt motor, and this is a big 120 volt 150 watt motor, so totally different.
Okay.
But that the thing on the wall is, I think the artist is happy with it, so he's gonna, in a couple of weeks, he's gonna be he's gonna put it in the gallery and see what people say, because he wants to sell it. So yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. So for that particular project, I'll be sending out for 3D printing to a 3D printing company farm, and probably build a circuit board and have it built, because I don't want to build stuff. You know, I'll design it, I'll prototype it, but I don't want to build stuff.
It's probably one of a kind, right? I mean, you're not going to go into production, right?
Oh, he wants to go into production. I'm sure it's going to be small, like 10s, 20.
Oh.
Who knows? But he wants to do it for his, like, each art piece will be one of a kind, but he wants to, once it gets going and gets good reception, he wants to make a lot of art that does that. And that'll be his thing. So, and he'll be wanting to sell them for lots of money. That's it. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, up next we have Doug for real this time.
Okay, I got two things. One of them's a longer tail of woe and whatnot, so I'm gonna save that for a second. But the first one, this came across my desk, and I'm not sure everybody got access to it. So I'm gonna open this share screen. I think I want to do that and that and that, and no, I don't want to do that. Stop. I'm sorry, sharing the wrong screen. Let me get it. Share screen. Share screen. I want to do this one. And share, and I want to go to here. Okay, come on. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this came across my desk. It's a 5-day robot design course, and they have, it's a little unusual, and I don't think anybody would be interested in all 5 days, but there might be a day in there. For example, the one I'm looking at on this is probably day 1 and day 4. You know, can you guys see the different day topics?
Yes.
So the first day is called Robot Design Overview, and the second day is modeling of DC motor driver using Autodesk Tinkercad circuits. I wouldn't want to do that. So day 3 is modeling a bidirectional DC motor control driver using QSpice. Now that might actually be interesting, because I haven't done a little spice modeling in a while, so it might be cool to get that skill refreshed. And then day 4 is understanding pneumatic cylinders and directional control valves. Now that ties into the project that I'm going to show you next, because that's what I've been working on. And then the final day is build an electronic sensor activated solenoid actuator. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. You can buy this stuff. It's a lot easier. So anyway, so it's sponsored by Digi-Key, and I'll put the link. I don't mind. It's the big link. Well, I'll put the link in the chat. Okay, so that's that one. Give me a second here while I do that. Well, I say that. Here it is. Okay, so that's in there. Yeah, I'm sure there's an easier way, a much smaller one of those, but I don't know how to get it, make it a friendly one. All right, so the next one, I'm going to stop sharing. And, well, wait a minute. No, I am going to share. Okay, so on this one, you have to kind of go, I told you last week that I bought a laser and it came in, and I've been spending time all week upgrading it. And the laser comes with an air assist pump inside of it, but it's essentially a very weak aquarium pump. Okay, so it's not, it works most of the time. But particularly if you're cutting wood, where the possibility of flaming, where the laser actually catches the wood on fire and other stuff, you need a really good, strong assist. Unfortunately, air assist, depending on the material you're cutting, can go all the way from you need as much as you can get to 0. All right. And the aquarium pump just sitting there happy going pump, 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 pump. You got one value, and that's what it is. So there's a YouTube video of the exact model of laser that I have, which has a Top Wisdom controller in it. And let's get to it here.
What is the brand of laser that you have?
It's a Monport. It's a Monport Reno 65 Pro. And there's lots and lots of videos about it. And, how YouTube people, I guess they get a machine. And so it's makes, I would say that they're a little bit optimistic. The machine itself is very good. So it is and it is very reasonably priced for a 65 watt machine. So, I mean, it is a good deal, but, they cut some corners. So, like, for example, if you have, they'll tell you can use the old aquarium pump in a bucket to cool it, but that's real at 65 watts. That's really very, very marginal, and not just that. So you would be able to cut for a while and have to rest and let the water cool down. You actually need a real chiller. So the chiller has an alarm on it, so you can tell when let's say you started it up, and even though you may have the power going, but let's say the chiller failed and you stopped circulation, or maybe somebody pinched a tube. The situation, on a laser tube is if you don't have water circulation, it will quickly burn itself out. And so you end up having to buy a new tube. So it's very key that you have cooling supplied to the tube. And the worst case is if you had no water. If you had no water, it's a matter of seconds before you buying a new tube. So anyway, so I have a chiller, so it's pumping water through the thing, and it has an alarm circuit, and essentially I had to put that in. You would think that at this level that should have been the plug and everything for that should have been something that you wouldn't have to do. You would just plug in your chiller and it would be work. So anyway, so that was one delinquency. And the other one that everybody's griping about is the air assist. So there's several ways you can go to an air assist. You have this aquarium, which is pumping enough air for a lot of materials, but not everything. You're losing the ends where you don't want any air assist and where you really need a lot of air assist. It's just kind of in the middle. So the thing that most people are doing is they're taking a compressor and adding a two-way valve, pneumatic valve, so that essentially your compressor becomes the air assist, and it's controlled by, and I'm going to show you this now if I can. Am I sharing by any chance? Probably not.
No.
No.
Okay, give me a second here.
So how is that tube actually cooled? Do you spray a mist of water on the outside?
No,
of
it
the
actually
tube?
it's like a water jacket.
Oh, so
Okay.
a tube in a tube kind of thing?
Yeah, it floods the tube.
Yeah. And I can't find the share button. Come on. Oh, well, maybe I have to go here. Oh, here it is. All right. So I'm going to share, and this is the the Top Wisdom TL-A1 controller board. And what people are doing on the internet is they're taking advantage of this output one. The Win/SPI or SPI is an output port that can be used to like turn on a spindle and whatnot. And you can see it's hooked up to a relay. Well, that relay is not there. Okay. And so people have been running their solenoid straight off Top Wisdom board. And guess what? This is a Chinese part. So there's absolutely no documentation about how much that pin can sink. You can assess that it's an open collector, or open collector or open drain. I'm not sure which, but probably an open drain. But how much it can sink, they don't know. Now, competitive boards by other DSP controllers, they'll tell you in it, and they actually sink quite a bit. They'll sink 500 milliamps, but there's no any of that information. So, they're getting away with it. They're getting away with sinking 80 milliamps because I bought the same solenoid that they did, and I measured the current, and it's 80 milliamps. But that doesn't seem like a smart move, because if you blow out your controller board, it's going to be expensive. Okay. So what I wanted to do is bring this down to the a milliamp. Okay. So that easily, a low level signal drop. So what I did is I created, stop sharing. Okay. Okay. All right, now I'm going to see. Okay, I'm going to pin it for everyone here, I think. Did I get pinned for you guys? Did it pin?
Nope.
Are you sharing a window, Doug?
What I want to do is pin my screen.
Oh, I'll pin it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So to do this, instead of just adding, a solenoid and tying it up to the controller board, I had to make it difficult on myself. So I'm made this independent with a separate 24-volt supply, just a wall wart that plugs into the back. There's a place in the back of the laser that you can do that. So this is my project for this week. And so you can see it's got a solenoid straight through. So you're passing air or you're not passing air. There's no exhaust. I put the YouTube guys aren't using snubber diodes, but I put a snubber diode in it. And then since I'm using an independent supply and current's not an issue anymore, I'm using a single relay board. And on this guy, I've put here you can see there's a resistor there. That's my pull-up resistor for the open drain. And so this plugs in. So this gives me the capability. This changes me from the aquarium pump to the compressor. And the compressor there's going to be on the laser itself is going to be mounted a flow controller. I don't know what just the knob where you can adjust the pressure. And that's so I can adjust. So I have adjustable, but the aquarium pump is not being used. Well, this is where design creep starts coming in. So I said, well, it'd be nice to let it, if I didn't want to hook up the compressor, that it would default back to the aquarium pump. Well, there's a lot of problems with that. So like this compressor solenoid, you don't want it back feeding directly into the aquarium pumps, which uses duckbill valves and a diaphragm. Eventually you would screw up the aquarium pump. And if you try to do it with check valves, it's possible, but it's messy, because you need for the aquarium pump, you need a low crack value check valve, and they don't really make those, at least not where they're easy to get. I'm sure they make them. They make them for water, but they don't make them for air. So anyway, the thing is, you can add something called a three-way 2-position solenoid. So I could have another solenoid hung off here if you want to think of. So that would still just use the other contact on the C contact that's here. So like right now I'm using normally closed, normally open. I could have one hooked up to the normally closed so that it would switch back and forth. That way I could have the aquarium pump or the solenoid, but it would also reverse the logic that you use to turn on the flow assist. So like in Lightburn, which is the laser program of use, if you put air assist in, this will work. But if you turn air assist off, it would this relay would deactivate, and the other solenoid would activate, and you would just get the constant constant pressure from the aquarium pump. But the aquarium pump, since it runs all the time, has to have an exhaust, so that if you stop the flow, it will exhaust, and that's a three-way two-position switch. That's why I'm saying there's the name of these solenoid configurations are very tricky. Like I'm thinking of using a three-way two, but there's also a two-way three, which totally different, and you don't want to go there. So anyway, so this has been my project for the week. But then, like I say, well, hey, now you have a solution where you're usually running the aquarium pump or the compressor. But what if you wanted to turn the air assist completely off? Well, I've got a lever. I can take that three-way two-position solenoid and make it a manual pull switch. That way, so when I switch over to the aquarium pump, I can also turn the aquarium pump's flow off too. So both of them would be off, and I'd have no air assist. So anyway, this is kind of like the dangers of overthinking something. You know, if I'd have just take this and mount it, I'd probably be 99% happy, and and I just think about that aquarium pump and say, it would be nice, because then the advantage of that is that you can move, like I say, the aquarium pump is probably okay for most stuff. You could use it, you could use that and not hook up to the compressor, and you wouldn't have the compressor running. And that would be really nice. So anyway, I'm still refining my project. I have a working solution that uses just the compressor, but I'm trying to get a situation where I'm either running the compressor, or I'm running the aquarium pump, or I've got both of them turned off. So we'll see how that goes next week. So anyway, just to let you know that I'm not just been sitting here in my lounge chair napping. I've actually been out doing a few things. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. And you say, well, what does this have to do with robots? It has a lot to do with robots, because this enables my laser to cut robot parts. So that's what it's sort of like your 3D printer. Anyway, that's it.
Do they ever use inert gas for air assist? Because if you got something that's likely to catch fire, whatever material you're cutting, seems like an inert gas in there would kind of help.
People have done that. The problem is, it's expensive.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You don't need it. If air assist is set up properly, there's no way you get any flames. I mean, you can walk away from it even.
You're not supposed to say that.
Anyway, you know how it is. But
I'll dial 911, and when we hear the fire alarm, I'll dial the other one.
Yeah, anyway, so it's been a fun project. And like I say, it was really cool when I came across this laser. Is a nice laser. I'm not trying to badmouth it. It's a really nice laser, and it came, in really good shape. I had it packed well when I cut it out. I didn't even have to adjust the laser path. The laser path was perfect. So it's really nice.
Did you get it from a company here in the States, or did you get it from overseas?
Well, it's kind of hard. You can buy it from Monport. So here was my situation. I could buy it from Monport, or I could buy it from Amazon for $100 less from Monport. So they had it on Amazon cheaper than they had it on their website.
Yeah.
Now, but if you look at any of these YouTube YouTube videos, they all have a 10% code that you could use. So probably they would be the same. But when I use it on Amazon, I also use the Amazon credit card, which gets me 5% more. So, it depends on, you just have to figure out which one is the best deal for you. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the laser is part of the system. The absolute, to me, the minimum you could have for this is you'd have to have a chiller too. And so I want to say that's about $400. So you got your laser, which I think I paid $1,900 for, and then $400. So it's about $2,200 to buy one. But it really essentially does everything that the lasers down at the Makerspace do. There's absolutely no need now for me to go down to the laser, down
Could
there.
a small college dorm refrigerator act as a chiller? Can you put the coil in the inside of the refrigerator?
Well, I think probably, Ray, the compressor and everything is probably that. I don't know exactly how the heat transfer is done.
Yeah.
Could you use a little refrigerator? I'm sure it would be better than nothing. But you'd have to you would have to also put in a water temperature monitor, and a few other little goodies to make sure you didn't. And you'd have to build in your alarm circuits. So I'm not saying it. Would that beat a bucket of water? I imagine it would.
Don't they have aquarium chillers because most of those saltwater fish, they don't like that water very warm at all.
Yeah.
Maybe there's, because how many people? See, I started looking at for some other stuff and trying not to make more work for myself, but looking around like, if somebody got into this like an aquarium thing and decided this wasn't for them and tried it, and they were like me, where they bought everything they thought they were ever going to need ever at once, decided they only did this for a month, and they all pawned it up. Maybe you could find one a little less expensive to do what you need to do, because in the use. I don't know.
Yeah, Harold, let me put it this way. So if you were, say you had a 20-gallon tank for aquarium, okay, it's going to heat up and cool down very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In a laser, you're putting 60 watts. So
you got it.
It heats the water very quickly. If you're not actively, that's why a bucket of water, you can use it, but after a minute or so, you're probably going to have to let it rest for 30 minutes.
But what about a bucket of ice water?
Well, yeah, but then you got to have ice,
My fridge
there
makes
are,
ice.
you can get something that's not a chiller. You can get something called a refrigerator, essentially it's a radiator. They just blow air through a radiator. And
like a fan coil unit?
Yeah. And that's cheaper, but they usually don't put them on any lasers bigger than 40 watts. Okay, so, and but not having to worry about it ever is cool. Otherwise, I have all the plugins ganged up. They're all turned on so that when I pull one switch, everything comes up on the whole system except the laser itself. I have to push another button. But it's really, that it's nice. And like I say, I ran with a bucket of water on a 40-watt laser for years. Okay. And, like I say, it's a marginal. a marginal solution even on a 40-watt laser. It's doable.
Works
you know.
good in the winter.
Yeah. And the other problem you have is in a bucket, even though you have it sealed up, it gets contaminated, and since it tends to, you can also get a lot of I want to say, I don't know if it's slime or whatever, mold or whatever that grows in it, and you have to clean that out if you let it go too long and all that sort of stuff. And you can get rid of that by putting the stuff you buy for aquariums, that they put in it to, I guess
Chlorine.
I don't know. I don't think it's chlorine, right?
No.
But because it lasts longer. That's why I mean, it could be chlorine, but it seems to last, a lot longer. Or you can even put bromine in it. You just need a couple of drops of bromine, and that'll kill anything in it forever. You don't want to drink it, but I'm not drinking out of my chiller anyway.
Yeah.
So no, I don't have a spigot on it. So anyway, that's just it's been a real cool journey, and just drop a few things. I know it's not super robotic, but this was going to allow me to move on to robotic stuff. Yeah.
So how much do you think you got in the whole thing? Initial
Well,
purchase and parts.
Okay, the main parts, all you need for most things that you would cut is the chiller and the laser. Now, I have from my 40-watt laser, because I had air assist on it, I do have a 2-gallon compressor. So that's what I plan to use on this one. But, I might hook it up and not actually use it till I find a situation where I convince myself that I have to go away from the aquarium pump. We'll see. I don't know. Or I might move the aquarium pump over to the 40-watt laser. Who knows? That might be the solution to that. That would make it, I can double feed these guys right now because very rarely do I use both of them at the same time. So anyway, that's it, Pat. That's all I wanted to talk about. And
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thanks, Doug.
Hey, Doug, can you put a link to the laser that you got into the chat?
Okay. I'll do that right now.
Just curious.
Okay, I'm going to put 2 links. I'll put one link will be Monport. Okay. And the other will be the Amazon link, if it's still there, and you can compare prices. And like I said, the thing you have to do is if you buy it from Monport, make sure you go on YouTube and watch one of the reviews, because they all have 10% coupon codes that you can use. Yeah, right now it looks like they've gone up. Well, they're not up, but they're, let's see, thing. Now there is another option, okay? There is another option. You can buy this same size machine, the non-pro, and that's very usable. And if you did buy it that way, you could buy a more mainstream controller board and retrofit it, and it might cost about the same. Okay. If I'd have really thought about this, little more, I might have gone with the non-pro. Its controller board is Gerbil. That would work fine. You know, you just, especially if you've got a computer hooked up to it. The only time that the more advanced controller board really helps you, well, there's a couple of things. It's supposed to have better acceleration curves and stuff like that, but it also has the ability to run separately. You put the file in, and you don't have to go through a computer. So that's a possibility, but that's the only real benefit, and there's a big difference in price.
So how many robot units for 40 watt?
Okay. Why did they also make a slightly smaller computer, a laser, a Reno 45 and a Reno 45 Pro. And I actually have one called a Reno 45 Vision. I don't think the Vision is out for the 65. So, but what that buys you, what the 65 buys you is more power and a bigger bed. So like on mine, it's 24 by 16. I think on the other bed, it's like 20 by, I don't know. It's a little smaller. I'd have to look it up. All right, where is chat? Okay, here it is. Okay, so here's the Monport, 65 Pro. Okay. All right. And let's see if Amazon's got something.
$2,000.
Yep. But you got to look, Ray, look at the other options. So like look at the 45 and the and okay, so you might say, well, what about what's the difference between a 65 watt and a 45 watt? Okay, 65 watt means you cut materials without having to worry about it too much. It's got plenty of reserve power. Okay. All right. So here's why I'm saying, okay, here on Amazon, it is, let me get it. It's $1,700. So I don't know why you'd buy it from, and if you're what is it, Amazon Plus Prime, yeah. If you're that, you're not paying any shipping. It's okay. So here's the Amazon link, and this is actually, I think this might even be cheaper than what I paid for it. Let's see. Okay. This is the 65. Now, when it came, if you bought this and you decided to buy the chiller, okay, the chiller was made by one company, and then the design was essentially cloned by a gazillion companies. The original company is supposed to be a lot better made. It has like an LG compressor and some stuff like that. And so when you're shopping, you want to get that instead of just, you don't want to just say, give me the cheapest CW 5200 chiller that's out there. You want to find the one that's made by this company, because they're not anymore if you're lucky, they're not any more expensive. They might even be cheaper, but hey, you know, they're not a clone. Yeah. So let me see if I can find that link. Okay, Ray, you're asked, well, what I told you all you needed is the chiller and the and the laser. Probably another thing that you probably would want pretty quick would be an exhaust fan. It has a built-in exhaust fan, okay? And it works, but an inline exhaust is better. Okay, and this is more expensive than when I paid for it. So that's kind of interesting. But this would be considered, this is a good one. The question you have to ask yourself, you know, do I want to save $20 and have part that's a clone? But this is the one that I bought. And you can look them up. But the thing is, if you look at this particular one, and if you look at the you see where it's marked TEYU. Otherwise, I really should have put that. So the TEYU is the original company. All right. So if you can find one cheaper that's from this company, then you're okay. All right. And for an exhaust fan, there's two. The porting is originally 4-inch porting, and so a 4-inch exhaust pipe, inline pump added to it would be sufficient. But since I'm for a few dollars, and I mean literally maybe $10 more, you can get a 6-inch fan, which has like 3 times the flow, and does the difference between a 4-inch port and a 6-inch port is a factor of 4. So, you know, did I Cadillac this a little? Maybe a little, but you know, oh, and you got to have someplace to put it. So you got to have a table. That's another concern. And you probably want the table on wheels, you know, so you can move it around. So, and if you get the 65, it's a big ass machine, and you're probably going to have to put a table on top of the table to get it to fit on there, because most tables max out at 24 inches width, and what you really need is about 25.5. So anyway, neither here nor there. So it's like anything like this. It's a rat hole. You start at the top. Oh, it's only cost this much money. And by the time you get to the bottom of the rat hole, it's a lot more. But it's really a nice system, and I'm pretty happy with it. So,
I know all about the rat hole because yesterday on a whim, I sent something to Facebook Marketplace.
yeah.
Guy's getting rid of a bunch of wood and pin turning. He goes, hey, I said, you got any of this? He goes, yeah. I said, hey, I got a budget of $50. What do you got? He goes, if you show up with that cash in hand, I'll make sure you're happy and busy for a long time. Okay. So I rolled over there, picked up, showed in there. He gave me some stuff like I got some wood over there. I don't want to take away all your time on this thing, but let's just say I got probably $300 or $400 worth of wood for $50.
Yeah.
Literally. And some of that is is spalted pecan, spalted oak, spalted wood, which means in order to turn it on a lathe and have a reliable turn,
Yeah.
you got to stabilize it. Guess what? I don't have any equipment to do. I'm about to have, it's going to be a lot.
That'll stabilize it.
Yeah, Christmas just passed, and my birthday just passed, so I'm all out of those options. Anyway, so I understand your pain. I understand your pain there, Doug. I got it.
Yeah. And I was like, like I said, well, I decided that before I really got into this, before I started using the laser just for work, I was going to try and work out all the bugs. And like I say, this, as far as I know, this is the last bug. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. And anyway. And like I say, you can get into this. Like I say, they have 45 Pro, 45 Pro camera. They have the 65 Pro, and the 65 Pro camera. And in hindsight, if I knew I was going to be tearing every panel off of it and working in on it and doing stuff, I might have gotten the 65 and just upgraded the controller. But to be quite honest, I probably would have been absolutely happy with the controller they had in it, because I use a hooked up computer all the time. Mine, I don't run it from files. So anyway.
I found this very instructional. In talking to you about this, and I was thinking about getting into some CNC laser engraver and everything. And after listening to you talk about it, I have deleted all those thoughts out of my head.
Yeah. Well, don't get me about CNC lasers. Engravers, because that's another rat hole. That's the big problem you have there. I think you have a three. It depends on what you want to do. If you just want to cut wood, there's a lot of solutions out there that are really nice. They'll cut wood, and they may even struggle through aluminum without too much trouble. But unless they've been specifically designed to do metal, they're probably not rigid enough, and they may not have this is less of a problem, but they might have not enough spindle anymore. So that means you upgrade the spindle, and rigidity you can't fix. So there's a, what do they call them? Jimitsu 3030 Pro X. So it's only got a 12 by 12 inch bed. All right. But it can handle aluminum without any issues. Now that's the most inexpensive way to go. I think it's called Makita. No, Makia, I think. Oh. It's M-A-K, it's Make A. M-E-K-E-A. But I think it's broken up into 3 syllables. Makia. Okay. Or Makaya, I don't know. But anyway, they just released out their Z1, which it's got a smaller bed than a foot by foot, but it's enclosed. It's got all the bells and whistles, self bed leveling, the whole whole bang. It's got a semi-automatic tool holder. But you pay for all that shit. Those are the two that I know about. There's others out there. But
the Makera Air is probably the better I shall
Yeah,
stand by
well,
that one
actually,
being
people have been
better
saying
investment.
that this the smaller one is actually for some reason getting better results. Now I don't know why that would be. I mean, improvements in the software, but you think that would go back up through the air. The Air is definitely a nice machine. It's got a lot bigger bed, so that would be, you know, for me. I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you in a couple of months. Okay.
Yeah, and looking forward to hearing how your efforts are going on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing the first robot part come off of it.
Me too. Yeah.
The first one is only going to be $29.95.99.
It'll
That's
be
the only bit cheaper.
yeah. Yeah. You know, you take the price of your whole project and divide it every time you make a part.
Yeah.
Well, that one was only $1,300.57. But I'm also hoping to do a little side hustling too. So that's a different story. Yeah. So.
Okay, well, thanks for that update, Doug. Next up, we had Kyle, but I believe Kyle has dropped off the call.
Oh.
So
Did he know? Was he trying to answer a question, or was he going to show something? Do you know?
I think he wanted to ask a question.
he asked or show, I forget.
Okay.
Wanted to show something. He said
Oh,
he needed some time to get it up and going.
Yeah. So he's
I know what you mean.
he didn't. So I have something I can maybe show. That was posted. That was sent to me by Ed. So I'll share my screen. Share entire screen. Let's try this guy. Are you guys able to see YouTube screen?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a robot fail video.
Oh no. Ooh.
Well, that one's a
Didn't
real.
stand a chance against the train.
Did that train go over it? Oh,
There's Humpty Dumpty. Oh, he landed
That's
on
not a fail.
it kept going.
Yeah.
Landed on his feet.
Okay, you're right. If it's delivering food, that probably was a fail.
I think somebody's deliberately sending these things in the trains here. Judy talking to a trash can.
Yeah.
Oh, knocks over the bike.
I guarantee that would be that could be bad. That could get you messed up.
Walking a fire truck. Yeah.
So that
Oh,
I thought that was pretty good. That was what Ed shared with me this week.
I'd be real curious. You know, how do they? I mean, are they following it around and seeing these, or just people catching this, or?
I think it's just people catching them and throwing them on there.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what happens after you tase one. Oh,
I can throw the link up there if anyone is interested. But
Well, my daughter is, I believe, she made an order. She was in the Amazon drone delivery area, and she didn't know it, but my other daughter told her that she was, and she looked it up, and yeah, she was. So she's going to order something small just so she can get a drone to deliver it to. I haven't asked her how it came out. Yeah.
has anybody seen one of the Walmart drone facilities? It's usually in the back parking lot of Walmart's.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, there's one in Redbud. It's pretty impressive. The drones are actually a lot bigger than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
So it kind of looked like
Yeah,
they
we have them down here in Burleson. They're flying all over the place down here.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
I wonder how they see big AC power lines.
They may not.
Yeah. I've often wondered, like in my house, I have two big trees in the front. You know, how would they be smart enough to swoop underneath the trees and deliver, or would they deliver it to the out in the middle of the road? You know,
Probably
Road on your roof.
on top of the tree.
or on the roof.
I wonder if it delivered to my house, would I have to plug it in and charge it back up so it could fly home back to Walmart
Yeah.
miles away?
You have a Walmart coming?
I have a Walmart in Sudbury, 50 miles away, 75 kilometers away.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I was working on my code for my little microcontroller, and I decided I want to get Arduino to work in Visual Code and PlatformIO.
Yeah.
So I had code that compiled in Arduino, the IDE, but it would have errors in Visual Code, and so that's how I spent all of my tokens. I told the AI to fix it.
Okay. Well,
And it said, fix it.
hey,
And then it didn't
Mike,
fix it. I said, fix it again. It didn't fix it. Fix it again. And after maybe that 10th time, it says, oh, we have a cascading failure. I'm going to start all over. And then it fixed it finally. It was like the include files. It was just all, it was trying to link in with ESP 32 IDF and trying to get free RTOS to get in there, and it was just a mess. But the AI figured it out. It just cost me all of my tokens.
Yeah, I want to say though, you know, Mike, a lot of people who make that transition, the thing they don't realize is that on PlatformIO, you know, it's not set up exactly like Arduino, in the sense that you don't have a INO file, you just have a C file and or a C++ file. And you have to have a main file.
Right. So I just had a blank project and I said, hey, make me a PlatformIO file that did this function, and it just created the whole file for me. So
okay. Yeah, I wanted to say is I've seen a lot of people try to go that thing and they don't understand that Arduino uses an INO file that's exactly named exactly whatever the project is, and where on PlatformIO you got to have a main.
Yeah, because I told AI to do this function with the Wi-Fi and stuff in Arduino, and I finally got it to work in Visual Code. And then I said, oh, okay, with an empty project, I gave it the same commands for PlatformIO just to see what it would build, and it did a good job.
Okay, well, so what are you using that you're having to use tokens for, Mike?
Visual Code AI. The what's that thing? Well, I used Claude.
Okay,
Huh?
Claude.
Copilot?
Copilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was using Copilot. Yeah. And you get so many free code tokens per month, and so it's going to refill on the 20th. But I'm thinking I really need to buy a $10 subscription. Okay, I might have to bite the bullet.
I want to say I think that support Copilot must be included in Microsoft 365, because I don't ever have any. You know, when I'm doing it, I never have any tokens.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. So yeah, Visual Code is the only Microsoft I use. So
Next time you go to use it, it'll say, "Oh, by the way, you have a bill here of hundreds of dollars for."
Oh,
Hopefully my compressor will shut off in a second. Mike, how are you using this? Do you have Visual Studio Code up? you've got the PlatformIO extension installed, and you have the side panel over here to the side that you're typing in and asking you to do stuff, or you're copying and pasting things between Copilot and your code.
I'm just using the embedded Copilot on the side panel.
Okay, so here's what you want to do. Here's kind of what you want to do. If you go in on the right hand side at the bottom, there's a thing where it says model. You can select the model. It's usually set to auto. When you're setting it to auto, you don't know what you're going to get. Okay, you get a 10% reduction in cost, but you don't know what you're going to get. So I've been using GPT 5.2, 5.1, 5.2, and now 5.3 just showed up. And I think it just showed up anyways. There's Opus and a few other ones. And out besides each one of those is a multiplier. This is times number of tokens you get charged every time we do something for you. And what you want to, you can do a few things, and this is what I would do next. If you notice also down there, there's a thing that's got like a little code symbol. If you click on that, it'll say code, ask, and agent. Code, ask, and plan. I didn't think this was a big deal, and I've since backed off of that since I've been playing with it. If you'll get in and change it to either ask or plan, it changes the workflow. It won't do anything in those two. So if you change it to plan, you ask it questions, you give it constraints. Then when you get done with that, it builds you a plan.md file inside your directory. You tell it, hey, I want to do these things. You read over what you're going to want it to do. You say, when you got it done, cool, right? Let's go with that. And then at that point, it'll tell you, if you want me to implement this, put me into agent or code mode, because my UI is a little different in a couple of things I use. And then you can go. If you just want to just play around asking dumbass questions, not dumbass questions, sorry. Didn't mean to say dumbass questions, because I asked dumbass questions. Mike, you were perfectly awesome with all your questions. You know, I was saying, I know I'm asking dumbass questions. I'll tell you that right now. If you just want to ask questions and have it not do anything at all, you put it in ask mode. And I thought, no big deal. I'm always in code mode, and so I'm not asking it to do anything, so it's not going to do anything. No, it actually, there's a workflow behind it. It gets an opinion about how it should read your stuff and respond to you. And in the plan mode, it says, ooh, I'm planning, so I need to be a high level architecture kind of thing. Or, oh, if I'm asking, he's going to ask me any kind of thing, and I'm just going to respond. In code, I'm actually going to be doing coding, and I've got a different kind of workflow that'll help you through all that stuff.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do the agent and plan, but right now I'm just giving it commands and one thing I learned is I would say, make me a web page or something, and give it some details of it, and then it would make it, and it'd have errors, and I have to say fix the errors. But if you say make the web page and fix the errors, then it's only one token.
Well, tokens are weird, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But it's one access. It's a different number of tokens, right? It's a different charge because you ask it all at the same time. And so if you ask it to plan ahead of time, it'll look at these things, go, well, oh, I've got a plan, I've got a memory. In fact, that's what they call it, a memory of this plan. So step number 5, we're going to be doing this. Okay, so next time I go implement step number 5, it's already done a bunch of thinking. It's kind of pre-thinks for you. And then when you tell it to implement it, then it's quicker in going and getting the things you need. And I found also in the PlatformIO stuff that I ran into a lot of problems just grabbing an INO file and dropping it in there and saying, hey, fix this for me, because it went off into the weeds. I had better luck in either doing all the modifications myself, because I can ask it, hey, here's my INO file. Tell me what I need to do to make this work. And it can give you a list of those things and walk through the steps if you want it to. Or knowing what you want the INO file to do, start like what you did with a second, file new project, blank. Give it your constraints, then tell it to go. And I've had better luck doing that than trying to convert all my stuff, because this ESP32 thing I'm working for my serial relay, it kept disconnecting and errors, and we've been trying to debug that. Why why is my WebSocket dying on me and a bunch of other things. When I said, screw all that stuff, I know what it needs to do now because I've worked it through it on the IDE and the Arduino IDE. File new, make me one of these things. Here's all the things we wanted to do. Oh, yeah, and we want to do this things, and we want to do that, and want to do that, and oh, you shouldn't have done that, but you should have done this. And I told it to go. When we got going, it came up, and I have no disconnects. It's just rock solid stuff going down. I was very, very, very surprised. And it worked fairly quickly once I let it do all that it wanted to do. It's when you start mixing opinions of variable names and all that other kind of stuff, I think us humans confuse it. I think. I'm not sure on that though, but I think.
Yeah. So I do sort of vibe coding a bit, but big things. And Ray doesn't do that. He just gives it a full description of what he wants, and then says, erase all that here, and here's a brand new description. Start from scratch again. So
the other thing, I forgot about this. The other thing, if you'll look on the right hand side in the chat, there's usually a circular dial. I didn't know this before last Friday. Friday, a week ago, something like that. There's a circular dial. On that dial, you'll see it slowly filling up. That's the amount of context and memory that your current context, which is the current environment that you have, that you're working into. Once that gets around about 50%, the rule of thumb is start a new session. It goes off the rails, starts going off the rails. So if you got anywhere near 50% and it's acting weird, just go up and hit the plus button to start a new session. So it can refer to the old sessions, but it won't add anything more to them. It won't do anything more. And you can then start a new session asking it more questions.
Yeah,
I'm learning all this as I go. So I figuring out as I go on the deal.
Yeah, I seem to have a different environment than you do. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, because here's my chat area here, and I don't see these things that you're talking about. So I must be in a different mode or something.
Right, the right. See where it goes on the right hand side at the very bottom, where you got the platform Annie there. See right there. Click on that, and you can say agent, plan, ask, those sorts of things right there.
Okay.
The other stuff you're using. Look, you're using Claude Hyco 4.5, which that may or may not be good. Don't know. It
seemed to be better than GPT-4.
Oh yeah. You want something better than that.
Yeah, because it was just doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you do want something better than that. And I will tell you, having used a helper like this for the past 6-8 months in my day-to-day job, I will tell you that the 4.0 stuff and GPT tends to auger in if you ask it too much really, really quickly. It just dies a horrible death. But the 5 stuff in the last couple of months has been solid as a rock as far as doing things. It still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Some of it because I told it the wrong thing. Some of it because it made an assumption because I was doing things not exactly as I expected it to do, and we had to talk about that. But when I say talk about that, we talked about that.
Yeah, if I buy it you get CoHub, I think I will have access to GPT-5 then. So
yeah,
it's a paid level. So
I'm not sure what all the free levels are these days, but I am using Copilot through Microsoft 365. And I get access to, I got right now. In fact, I closed mine down a bit ago. Let's see what I still got up. What have I got access to? I'm logged in. I'm using my Copilot stuff under my Hotmail. And of course, I do have a MVP. So I may be getting some of this through my MVP license as well. So I've got access all the way up to something called Raptor Mini, which I don't even know what that is, and GPT-5, and all the GPT-5s up to 5.2 here. And there's a mini thing out there, and apparently Claude Opus 4.6 is the bee's knees currently. It's really, really, really smart. Of course, on mine, I've got a 3x token count. So every time I spend one token, and what is a token? Well, look up tokenizer, put in a string. You got more tokens there than just the number of words. It's really weird how the tokens work. I think it's weird anyways. And I can't show you my screen right now, but I'm looking at it. And you want to talk, if you got Google credit, you can get Google Gemini in that thing as well, but you'll have to go manage your models that you have down there in your Visual Studio Code in the lower right hand corner. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over. I just got excited.
Okay, Mike, were you done as well?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So I see Kyle is still dropped off the call. Next, I guess, Mark shared a video. I will.
It was just a quick video that I saw the other day that some people might be interested in. It's a nice, simple little robot.
You want to put it up, present it?
Huh? No, it's a longer YouTube video, so if people are interested, they can watch it. It's basically just a small little robot that you can supposedly build for about $60. It's a 4-legged walker.
Looked interesting using an ESP microcontroller. I read it the other day. So that's everything we had for presentations. I don't know if anyone has any questions they want to ask tonight. Any more discussions? We haven't talked about PID loops in a while. Maybe we should get a PID loop discussion going.
Maybe just for a second, I can ask a couple of questions that I've been looking into. Having been appalled at what it'll cost me to put together a Windows 11 capable computer, since I don't have any, I'm starting to look a little more seriously at moving more of my everyday work from a Windows desktop to a Linux desktop. The short list probably has Cinnamon Mint at the top, although there's easily half of the others. I just wondered if anybody else has any thoughts on what might make a reasonable Windows-friendly substitute and how effective it might be. I'm very comfortable with Linux. I use Ubuntu, Kubuntu, Xubuntu, and I've used several variants of 32-bit variants on my old computers, like Puppy Linux and Antix. So I'm comfortable with Linux, but I wondered if anybody has thoughts on what's a Linux environment that they would be happy to use as a desktop for technical stuff.
There is a couple different versions. Fedora, I think, is supposed to be one of them that's popular with Windows, getting off Windows. Before, it used to be Budgie OS, I believe, as well.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. I just read about another one, but I haven't used it, and I don't remember.
The list I've gotten from my research, I mentioned it has Mint on it. Cinnamon variant of Mint is pretty common.
I use Linux Mint on my laptop.
Okay, good.
I've been using it for a while. I used to use Ubuntu on my laptop. I'm using Linux Mint.
Yeah.
It's not the latest. I'm back to running essentially version 22.04 of Debian through Linux Mint. And it will get upgraded eventually. I just put together a server, and interestingly enough, it's an Ubuntu server, but I put Ubuntu Cinnamon Desktop on it. And then I added the server installed on top of the Ubuntu desktop. I did that just for ease of accessing it from remote, without having to open ports into my house and whatever else. So I use RustDesk as a connection client from wherever I am to try to connect into my stuff. And the desktop version made it very easy to use RustDesk to connect. Incidentally, I used to pay for a VPS server to run the RustDesk host software, the server software. I was paying $11, a little over $11 a month for a VPS. Very minimal, a couple gig of RAM, and I forget how much in a hard drive, but it was a very minimal system with one CPU and whatever. I switched to a Canadian provider, VPS. I paid $2.29 a month for my VPS server, and it handles just my RustDesk stuff. So I don't know if you guys have seen that RustDesk, for if it's of any interest to anyone. I can sort of share my screen.
Is it kind of a VPN?
It's what's like TeamViewer.
So it's kind of like TeamViewer. Okay.
Yeah. So if I go here, share, you guys are seeing my window screen, infinity mirror. Oh, picture in picture, or which screen am I sharing?
Picture in picture is open.
Okay, so you're seeing that guy. So I have, this guy is my RustDesk client. Right now I'm connected through this guy to my desktop on my laptop.
Okay.
So I keep notes in Joplin Notes for the meetings. Claude AI, I had it doing some stuff for me, come up with some programs, whatever. I'm able to share and get in and out of this guy and basically log out. So I can disconnect. I can go to my server. So to bring me into my Ubuntu server, the one I just set up. So it's running basically just an Ubuntu desktop, but with the Cinnamon desktop version, it gives you the menu like a Windows menu with this start at the bottom, and it's very similar to Linux Mint, Cinnamon, or and then, well, I use so I got Portainer, I got Frigate monitoring my cameras at home. I got Homebox, an inventory system on there with, you know, all my crap that I own at home. That sort of stuff. So anyways, that the VPS server that is serving the addresses with the buttons is coming from a host. So it makes it really easy to just connect in and see where I'm going. Now now it's where I hope that all my passwords are safe, or I just regenerate all my numbers so that I can not worry about what I just shared. So
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I do. Is I used to drag around. So when I go work somewhere, I drag around my personal laptop so I can connect in through home with whatever. And I carry this Windows machine that I'm currently on with you guys. And it just became a pain in the butt to, you know, you're carrying two laptops on a plane, and depending where you're going, work boots, hard hat, safety glasses, Visi vest, because you know that you're going to land there and your luggage won't be there where you land. So you bring everything you need to be at work the next morning. So it just became easier to leave a laptop at home and just go in through. I was looking for something that I didn't have to pay a fortune for, and RustDesk is the one I settled on. I haven't.
RustDesk's free, or is it a service?
It's free. So there is, you can set up RustDesk and use their server, and it's free, but it's much slower.
Okay.
So I set it up with my own server. I tested it out. I ran it for about a year, and then I moved it over because I found a cheaper VPS to do the serving. Basically, that's the one that sets up all the communication between your computers for you, just like TeamViewer would. TeamViewer, RustDesk was made by the original makers of TeamViewer, so the interface looks very similar.
So in the course of looking at desktop substitutes, I also ran into some discussions around web browsers. And the advice I was reading was to stop using Firefox, which is normally my go-to browser on a Linux system. And I normally use some variant of a Chrome browser on Windows. But I was quite intrigued. I like Firefox. I've used it for a long time. I was quite intrigued to find that there's some concern over the fact that that Mozilla is moving in a direction a lot of people don't like with their implementation of AI tools. Anybody else have any thoughts or read anything about where Firefox is going and why it's going there, and if it's a good thing?
That's why
their market share is really low now.
I switched to Brave on the server just for doing local host stuff, because it is way less obtrusive than the other web browser manufacturers.
Okay.
So the Edge, the Google, the Chrome, the Firefox are all becoming way too intrusive in what they want. And Brave, where it has limited features, but allows you to much better control what you're sharing.
And I used to think that about Firefox too, although it's becoming less that way.
Yeah, so Firefox has been on the fence back and forth, I think, a few times. And every once in a while they make the news for doing something good on the part of, web browsers and privacy. And then again, they do it. And like you say, with the AI, and now they want all your data so that they can, figure out the next way to sell you something.
Yeah, well, they're losing market share at a fairly rapid rate, apparently. They're down to around 2% of the market as a browser. And they used to be up at like 40%. Kind of an interesting number. Okay. And the other thing I was going to show, just for fun, I mentioned I'm kind of clearing some of the old junk out of my workshop. Sold some old computers and hardware to a guy locally for his vintage collection. And he asked about a few other things. So I started digging around in the dark recesses of my workshop and uncovered some stuff and found this thing hidden in a box. I don't even recall ever getting it. This is a Robo Quad by WowWee Computers. So I thought, well, this is kind of cool, and it's got a power switch on it. So I pulled it out of a box, having forgotten I had it, and I turned it on. So let me just turn this off. It's pretty noisy. So I thought that was neat because I don't even remember putting it away. And I obviously put it away with the batteries, right? So I worked up the courage to open the battery compartments. I won't show you the batteries now. It's got 4 C cells in it. So right off the bat, anything that uses C cells is really old. Inside, the batteries are perfectly clean. They're just like brand new. One little spot of rust on them. They still have charge. The manufacturing date on the batteries is February 2010. The brand name is Panasonic, real Panasonic, not dollar store Panasonic. It just blew me away. So the only reason I collect junk like this from garage sales and such is to see if I can, remove the stuff that doesn't look like enough of a robot and turn it into maybe a 4-legged walking robot. There are some people online who have attempted to do that with this unit without good results. So I probably will not attempt that. The WowWee company has employed phenomenal mechanical designers. So they produce extremely effective minimalist designs for their mechanical systems and gearboxes. There's only one gear motor in each of the legs. And it just turns the leg, it just turns the leg around in a circle, and the leg's mounted at an angle, so that if you control the 4 of them appropriately, the thing will kind of walk. It doesn't walk very well, but it kind of walks. So I don't know what else I'll do with it, but I thought the head and sensor activities were just fantastic. There isn't much there. There's some IR sensors and some flashing lights in the head, but it just moves really interestingly. So anyway, that was just a fun robot toy to show you. It's a Robo Quad by WowWee. That's all I got.
I'm sorry.
Well, thanks, Tom.
Yeah. Too bad it's not a better walking robot, or I could do something with it.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments or videos or something to show?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's going to be it then.
All right. Good night.
Good night.